If you're spending a certain amount of money, I want to be sure that I am generating a specific ROI for you so that I am making you as most successful as possible. And if the disagreements that we have come from a place of like, hey, I just want it to look and feel a certain way, I, as a partner, I'm just going to come back to you and say, that's fine. We've never tested this. We don't know if it's going to work. So are you willing to get potentially worse results to accommodate your preference?
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merritt.
Hey everyone, it's Tommy here over at Lasso. Wanted to jump on. This is solo today, and I just got off a sales call with a potential client that basically the gist of the conversation, very successful gym owner, right down the middle in terms of ideal client for us, has worked with mentorship companies in the past, is doing north of 60K monthly reoccurring, running a stratified model, obviously a really good operator, and very clear on what he's trying to do with his business and where he's taking it to, right? It seems like he knows his metrics, he knows his numbers, he's got clear vision, right? Awesome. Love working with owners like that. He had worked with two different marketing agencies in the past, and the thing that he was getting frustrated with and why he was knocking on our door is because they were running very specific plays for him to get leads in, and he was getting frustrated with the lack of flexibility in the system. And so when we got on the call, he was just very clear of like, guys, look, I'm beyond the basic mentorship of sales coaching and systems and all that stuff, which is totally fine. What I'm really looking for is a long-term strategic partner in marketing. And so what I wanted to jump on today is kind of use this conversation as an example of how we think about being a strategic partner with gyms. And it's really this balancing act between allowing us to do our job based on the hundreds of thousands of dollars of money we spend every year on paid ads. And when you do that across a large period of time and across a large amount of clients, you know what works in the marketplace. Meta's always changing. They just rolled out Andromeda. We had to figure out how to navigate that. I feel like we've done a good job of doing that. But like we because we're testing at such a high level, when I say high level, we're just spending a lot of money. We're getting a lot of data back to us quickly. Whereas like if you were just out on your own spending, even if it was like $2,000 a month to test stuff, the speed of which you're going to get data back to make informed decisions just isn't at the same level as us. And that's not saying like we're better. We're just like, no, we're an agency. Like we just happen to be spending more money. So we're getting clearer, faster data back to us, at a quicker pace. So when we come to our clients and they're like, look, this is what my business is. This is how I want to present it to the world. And ultimately, I just want to grow. We're listening to you, and the filter that we're listening to you through is like, okay, cool. Like I've worked with businesses like yours before, and I generally know what's going to work incredibly well for your business. I know what the offer is. I know what the assets need to look like. I know what the copy needs to look like. And this is how we're going to present you to the world, because at the end of the day, you're paying us to get you great results. And most of the results that you're going to get as a small business owner aren't going to come from the customization and personalization of your brand. It's going to come from what we systematically have tested and know that works for the model that you're running, whether you're a boutique franchise, straight to group model, whether you're running a stratified model of personal training and group, maybe some nutrition coaching, or a high-end PT model, a small group model, whatever that is, mixed martial arts, karate, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, whatever that is, the business isn't so unique and complicated to where we have to customize a lot of stuff. More often than not, it's like, no, like I know exactly what your business is. I know where you're trying to take it to. And this is the offer, the copy, and the assets that have been shown to work incredibly well for the model that you're running, right? And a lot of gym owners, because they're entrepreneurs, right? Like they're used to kind of being in control of their business, of decision making, of the brand. It matters to them a lot. And trust me, I understand you guys. My brand as a gym owner matters a lot to me, and I want to make sure it's being presented in a way that is congruent with what I see in my head. At the same time, I'm willing to give up the fact that I'm not so unique that I'm willing to spend more money on testing things that aren't necessarily proven. The trade-off that I have to make is, am I willing to forego lower cost per leads, higher conversions, moving my business faster because I prefer things to look and feel a certain way? And look, guys, like, there's no right or wrong to this. Like, I think anybody who's been in business, especially the gym business for a long time, understands that there's no right or wrong. There's just trade-offs. And that's where, like, when we go back to this idea of like a marketing partnership, we've built the business around being able to deliver predictable outcomes for our clients. That's what matters at the end of the day. Because if you're spending a certain amount of money, I want to be sure that I am generating a specific ROI for you, so that I am making you as most successful as possible. And if the disagreements that we have come from a place of like, hey, I just want it to look and feel a certain way, I, as a partner, I'm just going to come back to you and say, that's fine. We've never tested this. We don't know if it's going to work. So are you willing to get potentially worse results to accommodate your preference? Right. And as long as those expectations are set within reason, we can work with those types of gyms. There's certain things like, I'll give you guys a great example. So a lot of times people who run a stratified model, meaning like they have multiple different revenue streams in their business, like they run personal training, maybe some nutrition coaching, group coaching, small group coaching, whatever. And they want to lean into offers, call outs, and ads that speak to specific programs and solutions. And no, sorry, not solutions, like specific programs or modalities. What we've found to, like, again, through testing, is personal training ads tend not to work incredibly well. And when I say personal training ads, it's not to say like we're not guiding people to personal training, but when you present your business as, hey, like one-on-one personal training, this, and that, the market is already aware that it's a premium service that's going to cost a lot of money. So it's similar to like putting prices on your website. You're already going with no context as to why you're charging what you're charging. You're already disqualifying a ton of people that may be able to afford or need the solution you're providing, but because of labels that we're using or the way that we're presenting it, we're disqualifying for them from even having a conversation with you. And it's not to be disingenuous. It's more of like, hey, there's a better, more reliable way to present it to where at least you get a conversation started, right? So like, that's just an example. Like we've talked to people like, hey, I want to run like personal training ads. It's like, that's fine. Much higher cost per lead. And depending on what your ad budget is, that cost per lead could actually get so high to where the ROI just isn't there anymore. Or like if it is there, you're only picking up like one member per month. And you may say, hey, like that's worth it to me. And like, okay, like at least we have that clarity. But more often than not, when I present that to gym owners, say, hey, like what we're talking about is like the potential for just one client a month. They're like, that's a lot of work just to get one person in. Right. So that's where this give and take has to come in. Like, hey, like you are hiring us for being a subject matter expert to be able to guide you and help you get results for your business. We are not just people behind a laptop pressing buttons, just taking orders from gym owners, because more often than not, gym owners, unless they've ran a marketing agency or they've gotten enough reps working with a lot of different gyms, they're bringing a bias and a perception into what they think is right versus actual data-driven decisions across hundreds of thousands of dollars every year, hundreds of gyms across the country. And I'm coming to you saying, look, I've had a lot of experience working with businesses like yours. This is the most reliable way for your business to grow. Within that, if there's some small nuance or things you want to test, especially if you have a higher ad budget, $3,000, $4,000 a month, we can accommodate that preference. If I am constrained by money, I would much rather you run the play as is, because any deviation outside of that, I am no longer clear on whether or not it's going to work for you. And so we want to be a strategic partner of yours. We want you to succeed. We want to be able to accommodate the vision and the preferences you have. Just know that when we push back, it's not saying we want to stifle your creative freedom or we disagree. It's coming from a place of, look, I understand that. I don't have any reliable way to say whether or not it's going to work. And that just puts me in a position where, like, if there's accountability, hey, Tommy, like, you promised X, Y, and Z and it didn't work. Well, yeah, because we didn't run the play as we meant to run it, right? Like, you called an audible and things went sideways, or they didn't turn out the way they needed to. So just know, you guys, if you're listening to this, it's like, we're open to that. But more often than not, why marketing agencies tend to put you in a specific play is because 6-week challenge through gym launch, the 30-day restart through FMA, like whatever it is, it's because they have a lot of data to suggest that is the right play for you. We as an agency may have a difference of opinion on what the right play is based on the type of business you're running. Some offers and deals work in different markets versus others, right? So like there isn't like a perfect hard science to this, but like just know that when we approach you and we make a suggestion, it's coming from a place of data and not personal preference. Like, running a 12-week strength program for a boutique, large group, high volume business model is not a good idea. In most markets, that's not what we're going to run, but that is what is required for my gym here in Houston. That's not large group boutique. To be successful is like, that's the type of messaging and copy I need to have. So just food for thought, you guys. We don't want to stifle your creative freedom, but understand that, like, for this to be a good partnership, we're going to give you a voice, but we're going to keep you honest to say, yeah, but that's not going to necessarily produce optimal results. Are you okay with that? Most gym owners, once they get into it, are like, hey, I care more about actually growing my business. And then maybe once I get to a certain level and I have additional money, we can start to test different things outside of what we normally recommend. That's totally fine. But that takes a business owner who has enough wherewithal to say, hey, even worst case scenario, if I light $3,000 a month on fire testing stuff, I have another $2,000 to $3,000 that's still running the play as is and producing the results I need to push the business forward, right? With that, you guys, have a good rest of your day. And yeah, I'll see you next time.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoyed. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's lassoframework.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.